I don't need to turn anything on. Or
No, you guys are good. You don't need to do anything.
Okay.
Okay. We'll be going live in 3 seconds.
3 seconds.
Okay, we're live. Hello, Elizabeth and Shauna.
Hello.
Hi, how are you guys?
Come here, Shanna.
Well, Inspired to Pen has to have both of you in the frame.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
You guys got this back?
Inspired to Paint. That's the two of us right there.
Yeah. I'm so glad to have you today.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, we've been waiting for this for a long time. So let's get right to it because we only have an hour. I know you pen fast, but not that fast.
Not
right?
that fast. Okay. Well, so I have, I cut some roses from my garden this morning. A couple of varieties that I have are Sharifa Asthma, Eden. I think it's Tranquility is one, but so there's just some pale pinks and creamy whites that in a glass vase that I thought would be fun to paint for you today. And I've got a 14-18 canvas, and on our Inspired to Paint site or my website, elizabethrobbinsart.com, I've got tutorials on all the paints that I use, my canvas and my brushes. So I'm not going to go into that today. So I can just get to painting real quick. So I'm just gonna, and I use Gamsol for my solvent, and I use Gamblin's Neo McGilt for my medium, and I've got the medium in this little cup, and my Gamsol's off to the side. So all I want to do right now is I'm going to just loosely sketch in where I think everything's going to be. I love just starting paintings this way. I think my vase is going to be a little bit off to the center, off center, because I've got more roses coming off this way than this way.
Oh, hey, quick question real quick.
Yeah.
Do you mind checking your camera setting, make sure it's 1080p real quick?
I did before we started, it was.
Yeah, and then remember it went black for a bit?
Oh, so how do I do that? Let's see.
Okay, sorry guys, I just want to make sure it's nice and clear so we can see all the details. Just go to microphone audio options and then go down to the bottom, look at the resolution.
Did you hit?
Okay, that's better.
Okay.
Okay. It was
Okay,
on
that's much
1080.
better.
So, of course, roses are basically spheres. So again, I'm just kind of giving myself little circles or half circles of where everything's going to be.
That is actually a really good tip to think of it as spheres.
Sphere or a bowl, depending on, how open they are.
Uh-huh.
So that's on Inspired to Paint. I just did a concept lesson on creating form. And, my paintings are very much about creating form, light and shadow, where Shanna, when she does her landscapes, although she'll do light and shadow paintings, but her landscapes are more about, mood and shapes. And mine are about creating form.
Yeah,
and
especially you always have some vases in there, right?
What's that?
I said, especially you always have some vases or china.
Not always, but probably 80% of the time.
Yeah.
I know an artist that said he would never paint flowers in a vase, but when anybody says to me, don't ever do that, then I'm going to say, watch me.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to do it.
Okay, we just hit 50 people, so not to make you nervous or anything.
I'm not nervous.
We all went and did some jumping jacks to relax before this.
Okay, so right now, I'm just kind of massing in where I see darks and lights on my vase. I'm not really worried about getting my color right now. I'm just trying to mass in shapes. And when you paint from life, especially from flowers, I mean, you got to paint fast. So I am a fairly fast painter. I start really fast. I mass things in really quickly. And when I do it more intuitively, which is a little bit hard right now because I'm thinking of talking to you guys at the same time. So using both sides of my brain is a little harder than when I'm just on my own.
But that also shows how well trained you are, because you are going almost like an instinct.
Yes, and I think some of my best paintings are when they're just quick. Like I do a lot of quick draws where you've got 1 or 2 hours to finish a painting. And I think some of my best paintings are that when I just can't think my left side of my brain shuts down.
So when you're blocking in these greens, I know you're just blocking with general color, so you're blocking with more of the darker value, right?
I tend to like to mass in with the dark value and put light on top of it. I'm going to give myself some background right now. And I use this color a lot. This is black, ochre, and alizarin. I'm trying to make a violet-y green, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
A little greener, maybe.
So here's a question. Are you using natural light on the setup?
I do have a north light window, but my neighbor has a tree there. And so I don't get as much light as I'd like. So I do have a 5,000 K fluorescent light. That's it. Shanna, can you answer the question for me while I paint?
Oh, great. Yeah.
It's a 5,000 K
Daylight
fluorescent
bulb,
light,
right.
daylight bulb that's shining on it. So it's a cool light, which means I'm going to have warm shadows. That's the law of light. Warm shadows, cool light, warm light, cool shadows. Did I say that right?
Yeah. Yes, you did.
Okay, so now that I've got some of this background in, I can kind of start to mass in some of my roses. And I have a family member that always says, I have a hard time believing that's going to turn out to be a painting. And I will generally start with the focal point because when I start painting, I'm usually very excited about this setup. And so I'm fresh, I'm excited, I'm not tired. Hopefully I'm not tired. And so I put most of my attention in that area. And then as the day goes on and I get more and more tired, then I come and do some of these other flowers that maybe aren't quite as important.
So when you set up the still life, do you design the focal point as you set up?
Yes. Yeah. And it's, a lot of people say, well, which rose is your focal point? Well, obviously it's going to be kind of this area here, but it's not so much of just one particular element as it is maybe a area.
Mm-hmm.
So right now I'm just not thinking petals. I'm thinking, and if you could see my eyes, I'm squinting quite a bit. So I'm just seeing these shapes of light and dark right now is what I'm trying to go for.
So you're just simplifying to abstract shapes, like every painter is learning, right?
Right. You know, that's what it's all about. You know, you need to stop thinking of things as things. Like, this is not a rose to me. I don't see it as a rose right now. I'm seeing it as just shapes, and they're not leaves. They're just shapes. Yeah. They're just shapes to me right now. And I'm not really concerned with that I get the shape absolutely perfect right now, because I love, like, this petal right now looks very clunky, but I'll come back with some dark greens and I'll carve it in.
Yeah.
I love doing that. So
you're kind of almost over painting it a tiny bit and then carving the shape.
And carve back in. I love doing that.
Yeah. And you have better edge work that way too.
Yeah, for sure.
So as you're putting all these abstract shapes, are you thinking about design as you go too?
Am I? Well, not right now. I don't know if I could say I'm thinking about design right now, because I mean, I've already done my design when I set my still life up. So that part hopefully is done for me.
Got it.
Hopefully. And so right now I'm thinking shapes. And if I can get, the shapes right, fairly close, and I can get my values looking good, if for some reason something happens, which generally does in my life, that I can't, I'm going to make this a little higher. I'm going to get rid of the gray.
And that's one expensive tool you got right there.
Well, those Q-tips, man. Yeah.
Well, pandemic, when it first hit, some of these really basic things are out.
Say that again.
I say when COVID first happened, a lot of these basic things, like toiletries and
toilet paper.
Out. So I'm thinking you probably stock up on Q-tips.
Well, I stocked up on paper towels for sure.
Yeah.
A little cooler. So, and I'm probably painting maybe a little bit faster than I normally do, but not much, huh, Shannon? What do you think?
Yeah. You pretty much attack it just like this.
Yeah. It's hard to tell because you guys have those time-lapse videos. So nowadays you don't know how fast people paint anymore.
That's true.
We both start pretty fast.
Yeah, and I'm not even worried so much about making sure I get the color right. That's if I can get my value close, then I'm not too worried.
So I see you slightly tone your canvas a little bit, right?
Oh yeah, I did. I knew I wanted a little bit darker of a background today, so I do tone. I toned it yesterday with raw umber and a little bit of Neo McGilp, so I had time to dry.
Okay.
If I'm doing a higher key painting, one that's a lighter background, then I don't bother toning it. But when I'm trying to get dark backgrounds and that drama that I like. Mm-hmm. Not everybody likes as much drama as I do, but anyway, it's just easier to get that background value if I start with a tone canvas.
Yeah. So here's a question for you. Are you a daily painter?
Well, in the summertime right now, when the flowers are blooming like crazy, I am a painting maniac. In the wintertime, I'll slow down a little bit or do more portraits.
You still paint every day though?
Oh, do I still paint every day?
Yeah.
Probably about 5 days a week right now. But I'll start a painting every day, sometimes 2 a day, so that, I've started all of these from life, and if I don't finish them, I can finish them pretty quickly without the setup, because the roses I grow are the David Austin roses, and they don't last a long time. They do not last as long as florist roses by any stretch of the imagination. I put them in a fridge for sure, but they'll only last a few days, even in the fridge.
Speaking of roses, it seems that you are very, very knowledgeable.
Well, when you have 100 roses, you got to know yes.
Just
She
awesome.
takes care of her neighbor's roses.
Yeah, I've been known to buy Shanna a few roses here and there.
Yeah.
Because I've run out of room.
Well, I got a big backyard here, and I don't mind. I don't mind at all.
You have to get in line. I think there's been a few other people that have requested that I come paint or plant in their garden.
Well, it's always great to find something that you're passionate about and then pin that thing, right? Because you enjoy it so much.
Always. Well, it's so important to paint what you know. I know flowers. Shanna knows trees, and I have a love affair with flowers that most people can't comprehend. My brother says, some people like flowers, Liz, and then there's you, which is probably true. I'm a little bit of a freak when it comes to flowers, but that's because I had grandmothers that loved flowers, and I loved my grandmothers, so I paint partly because of them.
Yeah.
So, and I will, when I do this, I will tend to, I'm certainly an alla prima painter, but I tend to work a little bit here and then work a little bit here. So I give my eye a rest, and then I'll, do a little bit of this or that, so that I jump around a lot. I'm not one that will, Shanna, finish my sentence for me.
Finish an area.
Please. I'm trying to paint.
Well, I think a lot of that is because that's what you're seeing is shapes. You're not trying to finish things.
Yeah.
And the relationship between the shapes.
Yeah, if you jump around, you get to kind of see things as you develop, rather than, have a. We were talking about sculpture the other day with Blair Boswell, and he's talking about, sometimes if you can like sculpt a very great big toe, but everything else is all kind of like out of proportion, then that big toe is not gonna do much good, right? Kind of work all over the place, and then you can judge the values and shapes and relationship as a whole. Then your painting will come out stronger. So I see you put that highlight in. So do you kind of get the darkest dark and then also the lightest light, just to lock in your value range in a way?
Not really. I know a lot of artists do that, and that's, they're judging their values there. But with this being glass, I wanted to kind of get that sense that it has that shininess to it. So, and I tend to like to get the vase in pretty fast, because the vase is the anchor of the painting. It it weights the painting down.
Yeah.
So if I can get that right, then I feel better.
You're doing it pretty right now.
Am I doing it pretty right?
Well, there's a very special guest here. Her name is Brooke. Brooke, hey.
Hi, Brooke.
Just want to do a shout out for you. She
That's
said,
my daughter.
yeah, she said, tell my mom I said hi. You're doing awesome, Mama.
Oh, all right. Well, you're my new favorite, Brooke. We always have a joke in our family about who's the new favorite.
Betty, there's a viewer here says she spent too much energy in the garden, so she doesn't have any time left over to paint.
Well, Shanna can tell you how much time I spend in my garden. It's quite a bit.
It is a lot of work.
Especially right now when the roses, well, they're just kind of, they're just a little bit past their peak. So right now it's starting to be deadhead season. And that is a lot of work. In fact, every single week, my large garbage can is full of deadheads. Sounds like a band, doesn't it? The Deadhead Band. Is there a band named the Deadheads?
Well, there's Grateful Dead.
Oh,
and they call them Deadheads.
Okay, that's what I know. Anyway, where was I? My garbage?
Yeah.
Where are we at? How much time?
Much work.
We only at 4:19. You were fast.
4:19, 19 minutes.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Looking pretty good in the monitor. So while I'm painting and I'm going to concentrate for a few minutes and make sure that my shapes are right. I'm going to have Shanna. Can Shanna talk to everybody about our Inspired to Paint site?
Of course. We'd love to know more about it.
Okay. Do I come out? Do I just talk?
Just talk. They can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we have had this in our minds. Both of us teach a lot and travel a lot of workshops, and we've had this in our mind for quite some time. But with our schedules, it just didn't really come to pass. And we had already filmed maybe 8 videos before COVID hit. And when it hit, and all of our traveling workshops were canceled, all of our shows were canceled, everything was canceled, as everyone knows. We both just said, this is the time, and we just jumped in with both feet. We're trying to offer something that makes people feel like they're amongst friends when they're painting, like very available to them. We have critiques, we have art history, we have all the things that were important to both of us as we were learning how to paint. In fact, the idea is, why weren't we around when we were learning?
Yeah,
that's
we would be so much better right now if we.
What can we do to help people? What can we do? How do we answer the questions in a way that they'll understand, no matter what level they're at? And we're having a ball. We're having so much fun. Liz is an excellent filmographer, an excellent editor. I like to do the writing, and we both, of course, love to paint. And so far, after how long have you lived here now?
So almost, 6.5 years.
6.5 years. We've not got sick of each other yet. So I'd say that's a pretty good sign.
And I don't know if everybody knows, but Shanna and I, not only are we best friends, business partners, but we're also next door neighbors. She literally lives right next door to me.
Yes.
Do you want to zoom in now?
Yes.
Because I'm going to go right here.
Okay. While you zoom in, can you talk about your greens briefly?
My greens?
Yeah, someone said foliage on the roses always trip her up.
So yeah, the common problem I see in students is that they are putting too much information in their leaves, and the leaves become almost more important than the star of the show is obviously, yeah, that looks good, is the roses. So but my greens are made from, I start with Viridian and Cad Yellow Cad Yellow Medium in Gamblin or Cad Yellow Pale in Winsor Newton. And from there, I adjust it by adding, maybe toning it down with a little bit of transparent oxide red or a little bit of alizarin or even a little bit of raw umber. Then I might, lighten it with some yellow ochre or Cad Light and some white. But it's a matter of really seeing these leaves as just simple shapes and not putting too much information in them. So, and you can see, if you can see right here, this is there. If I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, there's 8 leaves within this cluster, but right now it's just a massive green to me. And I'll come in here, let me see if I can do it. I might come and get a darker green and, and then carve in a shape that will help separate a few of them. But for the most part, I don't need to define every single leaf for sure. I don't know. I hope that helps. Did that explain it?
Yeah. So it's kind of like it's suggestive, right? You're suggesting there's 1 or 2 leaves sticking out, but not trying to make every single leaf separate.
Right. And so what I do is I say, if I can make one leaf very defined leaf shape and tell the viewer, in fact, I'm going to make one right now, hopefully, like this one that comes forward. This is a really beautiful yellowy green leaf. If I can make this very leaf-like, going to get it a little bit darker on this. And leaves are 2 planes divided by the center vein. And depending on whether it's cupped or it's flat or how it's facing, you'll get different, like this side's a little darker and this side's a little lighter. But in fact, I'm going to make this a little bit lighter. So if I can make that very leaf-like, and there's another little, leaf here, maybe I define a leaf up here and put some stems.
Elizabeth just did a lesson on the site on making greens on our inspiredtopaint.com.
Awesome.
So I did. Oh yeah. Well, you didn't say we've got 3 membership plans on our Inspired to Paint.
Well, yeah. We have a free one that gives tons of information, lots of our time-lapse videos, free videos, product reviews, some art history, and then we have a basic plan. Then the basic plan is the full-length video. And then the full plan, our all-access plan, has the art history, the critiques, the product reviews, the tools and tips, the blog, the concept lesson, the full video, everything. For $10 more, there's like 8 different things added to that. So
yeah, and we were just talking about it the other day. You guys offer a lot more than a lot of other membership out there, because you are doing more than just 1 video a month, right?
We're doing a lot more than that.
Yeah, and plus there's all these side lessons to help you hone in your skills and really grow into like a better artist.
Well, yeah, we've both been blessed, and we want to give back.
And we want people to feel like they have a real teacher. Like we're approachable. We are a real teacher.
And that's what I love about you guys is, it's always easy to go out there and pay and download some videos. Videos are, I'm not saying that it's easy to make, but video itself is just a screen that you're staring at, but having that personal touch can really make a big difference.
Yeah, and I've got, for when we film the videos, I have 3 very professional quality videos, and one's mounted up on the ceiling for when, we do our palette shot. So, and not that, if you're using a cell phone, or there's nothing wrong with that, but, we've invested a lot into getting really good equipment.
Yeah, there's no doubt in the quality, especially just your specialty. Like Shana's landscapes and your roses and all these things. It's, you know, something that we don't have here at Sentient, right?
you
Well,
have a
you have a
very,
lot
very
of really
program.
great stuff going.
But we don't have you. You are one heck of a great artist.
Oh,
No, no, I love your stuff. Like my wife is telling me, like on her bucket list, she wants one of your paintings. So now I have to read it.
wow, that's so nice. Well,
loves your
Julie, we're gonna have to make that happen.
Okay, I'm working really hard, you know. But just love. That's why, you know, I love you. The things you're building there is a community, and I can really feel, even just right now, you're so willing to share your knowledge, and I think that's how we can really make a difference in our communities. We're all friends, and let's all get together, learn together, and right.
Well, you know, we're all in this together, and I mean, you know, the more we look at it, like, you know, the more instruction out there, it's the better. And it's, you know, it's like Burger King builds right across from McDonald's, and Home Depot builds right across from
Lowe's and whatever.
Lowe's, kind of thing. And you know, we're all just trying to do our best.
Yeah.
And you know, being a professional artist is not easy. And you need that support system. You know, we need to build each other up, not tear each other down.
Yeah.
For sure.
Hey, Shana, can you zoom in a bit so we can see the detail now that she's sculpting the details? Okay, we're gonna zoom in a bit so we can see better. And Stephanie Fensky, she said, please tell you that you inspire her each day, and as she always likes your Instagram posts.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That means a lot.
And we have really people from all over the world right now. Someone just say hi from Moscow.
Oh, wow.
And we have people from Brazil, Chester County, Pennsylvania, and Florida, Tennessee, UK, Ukraine.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, everybody. The person from Pennsylvania, I don't know if I used to live in Pennsylvania 24 years. Miss it. But I do love Utah.
Oh, this is great. We can see all the details. Awesome.
Oh, you can see that I'm really trying to spend most of my time with this area here. And, you know I'm not one that can get each shape perfect right from the start. There are a lot of artists that every single brush stroke they put down is just exactly the right one. And, you know, I try and do that, but that's not necessarily what happens all the time.
I can see what you meant for the leaves. You let the reader's mind fill in the blanks. And once you get a few leaves in.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I like to paint a poem, not a novel. I had somebody say that to me one time, my friend Howard Friedland. He says, Liz, do you want to paint a poem or do you want to paint a novel? And I said, well, I want to paint a poem, because I think poems can be so powerful and can be, you know, more powerful than just a bunch of words over and over and over again. That it's like reading the encyclopedia. So if you know, the Dutch Master Florals, they're absolutely beautiful. There's no doubt about it. But they've told the story so well and with so many words that it doesn't leave anything to the imagination. And so I am not a photorealism painter, although people, you know, I can tighten this up to photorealism if I wanted, but I really don't want to.
Well, I like the way you paint, though. That's the poetry part of, like, roses. You gotta be poetic about it, in my opinion, right?
Yes.
So we got people from Georgia, New Zealand, Michigan. Do you know Joanne Kilduff?
I sure do. Hi, Joanne.
Say hi. And she knows you're still a Steelers fan.
Yes, I am.
And
you can't live in Pittsburgh for 24 years and not be a Steelers fan.
are these all English roses?
They are. Like they're the David Austin, except for this particular one right here that I'm really struggling with right now. They are all English roses, David Austin variety, and they're all from my garden.
Amazing.
People, you can see I use my hand. My fingers get. Where was I? My fingers get really dirty, but sometimes the finger is giving it the finger is just the best tool.
That's what Brian says. His pinky is the best brush he's ever got.
I know. Well, mine's this pointer finger, I guess.
Better than mine.
Better than, yeah, I won't show what Shanna does. Oh, all right. Where are we at on time now?
34.
34. Okay, so I got just under a half hour to get it finished, right?
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the edges, because I see right here you have a little bit harder edges to kind of indicate the petals against the deeper red here.
Like what here?
Yeah, kind of like when you're sculpting that rose.
Uh-huh.
How do you create the illusion of petals with your edge work?
Well, you have to, roses need very soft edges. But what, most people or students, again, another problem, I'm just going to do it out here. They'll paint petals that look like this, very rounded, when in reality, there's so many angles to roses.
Mm-hmm.
And so the more rounded you make them like this, the less real they're going to be. But they're so delicate that if you have a lot of hard edges, it's going to stiffen it up and make it look more like an artificial flower. And people ask me, do you ever paint from artificial flowers? And the answer is I did once and I'll never do it again.
Nobody has mastered that craft yet to make it look real.
No.
But you can paint it and make it look real.
All right, I'm going to take a break from roses and go back to my background. I do paint, maybe not quite this fast, but I paint pretty fast. But this is the stage then, and I want to get rid of that. This is the stage where now I would slow down so that I could, correct shapes and correct any value problems. You see, I have a hard time talking when I'm thinking.
Well, you focus on painting. I got some good news for you.
What's that?
Someone here, it's from Bob Tompkins, our student.
Oh, hi, Bob. Hi, Bob.
No, it's not Bob.
Oh, it's not Bob.
It's someone from that studio, but not Bob.
Oh, where's Bob? Why isn't Bob watching?
I don't know. I usually say people's names wrong, so I usually don't like to say people's names. But I think it's Jean or Janine McGee. Anyways, she's signing up for your classes. So.
Oh, awesome. Wonderful. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, inspiredtopaint.com. And we have a lot of fun. If you go to our YouTube channel, we've got bloopers. We did a commercial. We did a fun commercial, kind of on a spoof on the prescription commercials that
massive side effects.
Yeah, massive side effects. If you join Inspired to Paint, what can happen?
We have fun. We thoroughly enjoy ourselves, and I think our students can tell.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
Everybody should have an art friend like Shanna and I do. We are so fortunate.
Oh, someone is. Hi, Bob. Oh, that's funny. What is your canvas? Is it linen?
It's an oil prime linen.
Okay.
So again, if you either go to my website, elizabethrobbinsart.com, or you go to, it'd be better to go to inspiredtopaint.com. I've got a free video on there on all my supplies that I use, the canvas, how I tone it, the paints that I use, etc. So just if you help on over there, because I didn't want to spend time.
Yeah, we have limited time right now. And what size is it? You say 14 by?
This is 14, 18, I think.
Okay, 14 by 18.
Okay. So if my background's not all the way done, you're not going to throw me off campus, right? Keith?
No.
I don't get a failing grade if I don't finish my background.
Well, that's the best thing about, Sentient Academy or Inspired to Paint is we don't grade your thing, so you can enjoy painting. Sometimes we just need to not be too tough on ourselves, right? Just enjoy what we do and make friends, help each other out.
We are so hard on ourselves when we paint. We beat ourselves up all the time, and we need to be nicer. Oh, you know what? I should be spending time on those little buds. But I want to get this looking okay.
Is this the typical size that you work on, 14, 18, or do you usually do bigger or smaller?
Well, it's 16-20 is kind of one of my favorite sizes. I don't do large, really, really large paintings. I mean, I've done 30-30s before.
But like Josh Clare do 48 by 48 just for afternoon snack.
An afternoon snack, yeah.
That guy, he can crank out some of those big ones fast.
Yeah, Josh is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to soften some of these edges. Also, this would be, if I were on my own, I'd be, stepping away from it right now and taking a look at it to see, which I probably should do anyway. Is it looking okay?
Mm-hmm. Especially the wild rose.
Wow, this one?
Oh, I love it.
I've got its anatomy off just a little bit. I'm trying to fix it.
Look like it.
Anyway, or going back to soft petals, the petals wrap around each other they just wrap around and around and around. And if you have a petal that just stops abruptly, like if I just do a really hard edge there, that petal doesn't go behind the other petals. So you got to make sure that those edges are soft for sure.
Yeah, they're all overlapping in one way or the other, right?
Yes. Yeah, they overlap. So it's important to have more soft edges than hard edges when it comes to roses or any flowers for that matter.
Oh, do you paint life size? Are they smaller than life size?
This is probably about close to life size, but I generally will paint a little bit less than life size.
We have 80 people right now.
Oh, that's great.
Is that good?
It's good. Consider you can't really cram 80 people in your studio.
No, I can't. It's filled with vases and flowers and camera equipment.
Yeah, I think everybody's really just cooped up. You know, it's been months since we go out to see people. So it's good to have some online interaction like this, just to know everybody's doing well and
Staying safe.
yeah, stay safe. And whether you guys come to Sentient Academy or Inspire to Pen, just make sure go to we have the community feature, just like you guys have your community member community type of thing. Just make sure to say hi to each other, introduce yourselves, just get to know each other, because it would be fun to have a artist friend like you guys.
I don't honestly know what I would do without Shanna.
We push each other as well. When you've painted together for this many years, you start knowing what each other's strengths and weaknesses are, and how to bring the best out in that person. And when you do a critique, you're not critiquing from just your own viewpoint. You're kind of tuning into, when I critique Liz's work, I want to know what she's thinking. I want to know what the emotion is behind the piece. She does the same thing with mine. It's not just semantics, it's the whole deal. If you don't know each other, that's a little harder.
And really, the art community is really welcoming. So don't be shy. Just reach out. Even big name artists like Liz right here, she's so kind. Just reach out when you want to learn something, and people are always there to help.
Nicest people in the world.
Right?
For the most part.
Yeah.
I deal with enough business people, and I'm just sick of that scene. That's why I quit my job and do this thing, because if you don't have any money going their way, they usually don't give you much time and attention, which is sad.
All right, I definitely want to get in those little buds.
Ooh, can we zoom in to see the detail when she's working on the buds?
And then touch the screen, and the light should go down a little bit.
Yeah.
Cool. And as we can see here, there's a lot of broad brush strokes here, but kind of like what you're saying, you're building the form, and if you have the form in there, our eyes will just fill in the blanks and create the illusion, right?
Yeah, like I say, in an hour, there's no way I can get all this to the stage that I would call it finished, but within an hour, I have a really, really good foundation to build upon. And that's what I'm trying to do right now, is just build this wonderful foundation, the skeleton, so that, again, if I can't finish it from life, everything's there for me.
So we have 447.
447. So I've got.
I want to see a stem.
Oh, you want to see a stem?
Yeah, show them how to do a
what kind
stem
of
that looks like it's in the water.
Oh, it's in the water. Oh, yeah, I should probably. Well, let's, whenever you're painting glass, for First of all, again, the same thing as with roses. You have to have all this stuff that's inside here. You have to have a lot of soft edges. You can't have hard edges, because if you make it hard, then it's going to look like an element that's on top of the glass instead of in the glass. So once I get it on there, I'll come in and I will soften all my edges. I'm going to get, there's a really nice dark edge here, if I can get it dark enough. There we go. That's the value I wanted.
Yeah, that makes it turn.
There's another dark over here. And the thing about put some little thorns. The thing about glass, I've got a cool light that's hitting that glass right there, but when the light passes through it, it's going to warm up. So I'm taking, white and adding some yellow to it so it warms up. And that's what's going to help make it look, more like glass. And then that light comes and passes through onto the table. But I don't want this to be brighter or more pronounced than my highlight, unless, that's what I'm going for. That's what my object is. I've got to make this leaf really hard edged so it comes out at us.
Do you use the knife for some of those things too?
So yeah, I'm not a big palette knife user. I never studied with anybody that used palette knife a lot. But if I want, where's my palette knife? If I want a nice light on the glass, I might use a palette knife there, or a stem on a leaf. So, and right now, all of this background brush work is pretty active. And so, I may, as I begin to settle down and fine tune it, I might take a fan brush or a softer brush. And there's leaves back there that I don't have now that I see. What was I saying? Oh, quieting stuff down like this so that it's not so active. Because you don't want every brush stroke to be active. Because if everything's talking really loud, then the things that need to talk, like the roses, you can't hear them. So quieting some of this down.
Yeah, and right now I can see that focal point in the beginning you're working on, they really stand out because you quiet down all these other things.
Right.
And that's what makes a strong painting, right? You gotta lead the eye some way instead of competing against others.
Yeah, you just can't have everything be really active. It would be like listening to a piece of music and the cymbals were going off the whole time, or the drums were going off the whole time, and you couldn't hear the violin, or you couldn't hear the cello.
Yeah.
So it's really important to, understand that not everything needs to be detailed. Not everything needs to be seen. You can, and you know, the power, C.W. Mundy says, the power of suggestion is greater than the statement of reality.
Or like I said, I always put it this way: when everybody's special, nobody's special.
That's true. I like that.
That's yeah. Just you gotta pick and choose.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so in an hour, I've got this much done at home. I mean, if I wasn't on camera, this would be where I would step back, take a break, text Shanna, see what she's doing. And hopefully come back and say, oh, I like it.
Well, we do love it, so don't wipe it.
Okay. Where are we on time?
6 minutes. So when you're working on a piece, when would you call it finished?
When the check clears.
I love that.
Oh, I don't know. When Shanna says, don't touch it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Step away from
Step
the painting.
away from the painting. Let's see.
You don't rework your paintings as much as the average artist does, though. You're pretty good at letting them go.
Well, there are some that I let go, or that I say, oh, this one needs a lot of work. You know, you get it back from a gallery and it's not what it wasn't as good as you thought it was when you sent it to the gallery. There's a really dark leaf underneath this that's really pretty.
I have a good question for you.
Yeah.
I know it's good because it's from me.
Oh.
Just kidding. But it is good one. You see all these leaves as you are painting these leaves. How do you pick and choose and say which one am I going to capture it, make it more stand out, and which ones will I just leave it more abstract?
Squint.
Yeah.
But it's also about, I'm just adding some petals. It's also about where I want to, you know, direct your eye. This petal that's way back here, I certainly wouldn't put a lot of emphasis on that petal because that petal just shoots you right off the canvas.
Yeah.
So I would minimize that. You know, these, you know, obviously this is kind of like a C shape. These petals down here, I think are that pull you down to here. And even these petals that I'll do, that they'll direct your eye back this way so that you continue this path as you look through the painting. So
this is, I suggest you come back to read the YouTube comments because this is where everybody's putting in all the compliments.
Oh, are they? Oh, good.
Love.
Oh
love
my
it.
gosh. Okay, I'm just gonna stop painting and just tell everybody. Well, first of all, thank you for joining me and watching me paint. That was stressful, and again, I don't consider the painting done, but again, in an hour, I've gotten quite a bit done that if I can't, I go inside and I come back tomorrow and these roses will not look like this anymore. I can pretty much finish it because everything is there that I need. And I appreciate Sentient Academy for asking me to do this. I love teaching. I actually really enjoy demonstrating. I love getting feedback from students. I hope that you learn something. I hope that you head on over to Inspired to Paint and check out what Shannon and I have. And just so you know, I am a member of Sentient Academy. I'm one of their subscribers. So, and I enjoy what they do. So
Well, we just love to have you here, and really, you are doing great painting, and then also your website, all the stuff you do in there is great. So,
Can we, before we close, can I do one thing?
yes, you see it?
Well, I want to, wait, hold on. This is always the fun part.
This is the cherry on top.
The cherry on top, of course, I don't consider it done, but let's see what it looks like in a frame.
Ah. Oh my goodness.
Wait, I'm not that tall. I'm gonna fall over.
Oh.
Can you get it, Shanna?
Yes.
There we
Where'd you
go.
get that
That's pretty good. Oops.
Oh, quick question. I forgot. Someone mentioned about background color. Like, do you have any thought process on determining the background color for the paintings?
Well, I have the setup box that I have is painted this dark, olivey, brownish, grayish color. And it actually, and when I look at my monitor right now, it looks a little bit warm in that in my monitor, it's more of kind of a, I don't know, a gray brown, which tends to go with almost everything I paint. But it all kind of depends on the feel that I want. If I wanted something a lot more dramatic, you know, I could have put a rusty red back there, would have changed the whole dynamic of the painting. I could have done a yellow background. It would have been a high key painting. So that's a whole lesson that we'll discuss on Inspired to Paint.
Yes. Like because there's so many things you can talk about for another hour.
Oh my God. Yeah, an hour isn't long enough.
But it's good that you actually have all of that captured on Inspired to Paint, so people can really continue the learning over there. And
Thank you.
Right? So
Yes.
everybody, thank you for joining today, and we really do get inspired to paint today.
Thank you so much, and stay safe, everybody. Thanks, Sentient Academy. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
All right, bye.